My girlfriend said, if you love me, you'll wait while I find myself. I said, then find yourself single. She smiled like she had won. I packed her things that night. 3 weeks later, she came back crying, but my apartment, my heart, and my future were already full without her. Original post, I'm Caleb, 33M. My girlfriend, Ava, 29F, and I had been together for almost 4 years. We lived together in my apartment in Raleigh, North Carolina for the last 11 months. The lease was in my name. The furniture was mine. The bills came out of my account. Ava helped with groceries sometimes, but that was about it. I'm not saying that to make myself sound perfect. I loved her. I really did. I thought we were building something real. Ava was funny, beautiful, social, and the kind of person who could walk into a room and have 5 people laughing within 10 minutes. That was part of what I loved about her. But over the last year, that same energy started turning into something else. Every time I brought up the future, she got irritated. Marriage, too much pressure. Moving into a bigger place together, too soon. Meeting my extended family in Virginia. Why are you rushing me? But if I pulled back, she accused me of not caring enough. If I made plans without her, she said I was acting single. If I asked where we stood, she said I was ruining the vibe. So I stopped asking for big answers. I just tried to be steady. That Friday night, we were at a small Italian restaurant downtown. It was supposed to be a normal date, nothing fancy. Pasta, wine, maybe a walk after. Instead, Ava spent most of dinner texting under the table. I noticed. I didn't say anything at first. Then she laughed at something on her phone while I was in the middle of telling her about a promotion interview I had coming up. I stopped talking. She looked up and said, "What?" I said, "Nothing. I just thought you were listening." She rolled her eyes and set the phone face down. Then she leaned back like she had been waiting for a reason to say what came next. "Caleb, I need to be honest with you." There it was, that sentence. The sentence people say when they already made a decision and just want you to react badly enough to justify it. I nodded and said, "Okay." She took a breath and said, "I feel like I lost myself in this relationship." I stayed quiet. She kept going. "I love you, but I'm only 29. I don't know if this is all I'm supposed to experience. I need space. I need to travel. I need to meet people. I need to know who I am outside of us." I asked, "Are you breaking up with me?" She smiled a little, not kindly, more like she was proud of how mature she sounded. "Not exactly. I'm saying if you really love me, you'll wait while I find myself." I looked at her for a few seconds. Then I asked, "Wait, how?" She said, "I don't know, maybe a few months, maybe longer. I don't want labels. I don't want rules. I don't want to feel controlled." Controlled. That word landed hard. I paid the rent. I cooked most nights. I helped her update her resume. I drove her to the airport for girls' trips. I watched her dog when she visited her sister in Nashville. I never checked her phone. I never told her where she could go, but now wanting clarity was control. I asked one more question. "Are you planning to see other people?" She looked away. That was the answer. Then she said, "I don't want to close myself off from life." I nodded. The waiter came by and asked if we needed anything else. I said, "Just the check." Ava blinked. "Caleb, don't be dramatic." I pulled my card out and said, "I'm not." She reached across the table and touched my hand. "If you love me, you'll wait." I gently moved my hand away, "Then find yourself single." Her face changed immediately. Not sadness. Not heartbreak, shock. Like I had gone off script. She said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Completely." "You're throwing away 4 years because I'm being honest." "No, Ava, I'm ending 4 years because you want the benefits of me while auditioning other options." She stared at me like I had slapped her. I paid the bill, left a $20 tip. Walked outside. She followed me into the parking lot. "Caleb, wait. You're not even going to talk this through." I turned around and said, "You already talked it through with yourself. I'm just accepting your conclusion." She said, "I didn't say we were done." I said I did. Then I got in my truck and drove home. She didn't come back that night. I knew she wouldn't. She went to her friend Kelsey's apartment. I knew because Kelsey posted a story an hour later. 2 wine glasses. Ava's hand in the frame. Caption, "Healing Era." I stared at that picture for maybe 10 seconds. Then I started packing. Not angry packing, quiet packing. Her clothes into 3 suitcases. Shoes into trash bags. Makeup into a plastic bin from the laundry room. Books, candles, hair tools, the pink coffee mug she said made mornings feel cute. By 2:15 a.m., everything she owned was stacked by the door. I slept badly, but I slept. At 9:04 the next morning, her first text came in. "Can we talk?" I replied, "Your things are packed. You can pick them up today between noon and 3. She called. I didn't answer. Then came the texts. "You're insane. I didn't mean it like that. You're punishing me for being honest. 4 years means nothing to you," I replied once. "You asked me to wait while you explored life without rules. I'm not available for that. Pickup is noon to 3. At 12:37, Ava arrived with Kelsey and Kelsey's boyfriend, Mason. Ava looked like she had been crying, but the second she saw me, her expression hardened. She said, "You really packed my stuff." I said, "Yes." Mason looked uncomfortable. Kelsey looked ready for war. Kelsey said, "This is really cold, Caleb." I said she asked for space. "I'm giving it." Ava snapped. "I asked for emotional space, not for you to erase me." I said, "You asked to date other people without consequences." She went quiet. Mason looked at her. Kelsey looked at the floor. Ava said, "That's not what I said." I said, "It's what you meant. They took the suitcases, the bags, the bins." I helped carry 2 of them because I didn't want her dragging things down the stairs and claiming I damaged something. When the last bag was in Mason's SUV, Ava stood by the passenger door. She said, "You're going to regret this." I said, "Maybe, but I'll regret waiting more." Then she left. I went back upstairs. The apartment felt huge, empty in some places, peaceful in others. That night I cleaned the bedroom, changed the sheets, ordered Thai food, and blocked Ava on Instagram. Not because I hated her, because I knew she was going to perform, and I was tired of being the audience. Update 1 5 days later. 5 days later, the performance started. First came Kelsey. She texted from a number I didn't recognize. "Hey, I know things are tense, but Ava is devastated. She feels like you abandoned her when she was trying to be vulnerable." I replied, "Ava told me she wanted no labels, no rules, and the freedom to meet people. I accepted. Please don't contact me about this again." Kelsey replied, "That's not love." I blocked her. Then came Ava's sister, Brooke. Brooke sent me a long message on Facebook. "Caleb, I always respected you, but this is disappointing. My sister is hurting. She just needed patience. Real love waits." I stared at that phrase. Real love waits. I typed back, "Real love doesn't ask one person to stay loyal while the other person keeps options open." She didn't reply. Then Ava's mom called. I almost didn't answer, but I liked her mom. Denise had always been kind to me. She sent me birthday cards. She brought soup when I had the flu. She once told me I was the calmest man Ava had ever dated, so I picked up. She said, "Caleb, sweetheart, what happened?" I told her, not my emotional version, just facts. Dinner, the exact words. "No labels, no rules, meet people. If you love me, wait." Denise went quiet. Then she said she told me you kicked her out because she said she needed a weekend to think. I actually laughed, not loudly, just one tired breath. I said, "No, ma'am, that is not what happened." Denise said, "Do you have the texts?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Send them to me." So I did. 10 minutes later, Ava texted me from a new number. "You sent my mother screenshots." "Are you kidding me?" I replied. She asked what happened. I answered honestly. Ava said, "You're trying to make everyone hate me." I said, "I'm letting your words explain you." Then I blocked that number too. Meanwhile, she started posting, not directly about me. Of course not. People will punish you for choosing yourself. Sometimes the person you love most can't handle your growth. I'm learning that love without freedom is just a cage. Mutual friends started messaging me. Some were careful. Some weren't. One guy, Trent, who knew both of us from a local trivia group, sent, "Bro, did you really throw her out overnight?" I sent him one screenshot. Just the part where she said she didn't want labels or rules. He replied, "Oh, never mind." That was the pattern. Ava told people the soft version. I showed them the real version. By day 4, she showed up at my apartment. I saw her through the Ring camera while I was still at work. She stood outside my door holding the pink coffee mug. She knocked twice. Then she looked right into the camera and said, "Caleb, I know you're watching. This is childish." I saved the video. She tried her key. It didn't work. Because I had changed the locks the morning after she moved her things. It cost $145. Best money I ever spent. She stepped back and stared at the door like it had betrayed her. Then she called me. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. You changed the locks, seriously. After 4 years. I lived there too. You can't just remove me from your life because you're insecure. I saved that too. That night, I went to dinner with my friend Marcus. He had watched me slowly shrink myself for Ava for years. He asked, "You okay?" I said weirdly, yes, and I meant it. I missed the version of her I thought I had. I missed Sunday mornings. I missed cooking together. I missed her laughing at dumb movies, but I didn't miss the tests. I didn't miss being told I was controlling for wanting basic respect. I didn't miss feeling like love was something I had to earn every week. That Friday, my manager called me into his office. I thought maybe something was wrong. Instead, he said the promotion interview went well. They wanted to move me into operations supervisor. Small raise, better schedule, more responsibility. I walked out of that office feeling lighter than I had in months. I didn't text Ava. That was the first thing I noticed. Good news happened, and I didn't feel the urge to send it to her. That's when I knew the breakup was real, not because she left, because I stopped wanting to run back. Update 2, 3 weeks later, 3 weeks after the restaurant, Ava escalated. It started with an email. Subject line, "Love shouldn't be this easy for you to throw away." I didn't open it at first. Then I remembered what Marcus said. Document everything. So I opened it, read it once, saved it. It was 6 paragraphs. She said she still loved me. She said I misunderstood her. She said I had always been too black and white. She said real relationships survive uncertainty. She said I was acting like a stranger. Then, near the end, she wrote, "I went on one date. It meant nothing. It actually made me realize how much I love you." I leaned back in my chair. There it was. The thing she wanted permission for had already happened. One date. Maybe true, maybe not. It didn't matter. I replied with one sentence, "I'm not interested in rebuilding this. Please stop contacting me." That should have been the end. It wasn't. 2 days later, she showed up at my office. I work for a logistics company outside Raleigh. It's not a public-facing place. You don't just wander in. The front desk called my extension. "There's an Ava here." She says she's your fiance. Fiance. I closed my eyes. I said, "She is not my fiance. Please ask her to leave." 5 minutes later, security called. "She's refusing to leave unless she speaks with you." I went downstairs, but I didn't go alone. My manager, Dana, came with me. Dana is in her 50s, calm as a judge and absolutely impossible to manipulate. Ava was standing in the lobby wearing the blue dress I bought her for our anniversary. She looked like she had rehearsed crying in the mirror. When she saw Dana beside me, her face tightened. She said, "Caleb, can we please talk privately?" I said no. She looked embarrassed. Dana said, "Ava, this is a workplace. You need to leave." Ava said, "I just need 5 minutes with the man I love." I said, "You had 4 years." She flinched. Then she started crying for real. She said, "I made a mistake." I said, "I know." She said, "Then why are you being cruel?" I said, "Because consequences feel cruel when you expected control." Dana stepped forward and said, "We're done here." Security escorted Ava out. That afternoon, HR asked me for a written statement. I gave them the email, the voicemail, the Ring video, and the lobby incident summary. Dana said, "Caleb, I'm saying this as your manager and as a woman who has seen this kind of thing before. Do not meet her alone." I said I won't. That weekend, Ava posted a picture of us from a beach trip 2 years ago. Caption, "Some love stories don't end. They get interrupted by fear." I didn't respond. Then she tagged me. I untagged myself. Then she tagged my mom. That was her mistake. My mom, Sheila, is sweet until she isn't. She called me and said, "Why is this girl tagging me in emotional hostage posts?" I told her everything. My mom listened quietly. Then she said, "Baby, I liked Ava, but I like your piece more." I said same. My mom blocked her. Ava then messaged my mother from another account saying she just wanted to make things right. My mom replied once. Making things right starts with leaving my son alone. Then she blocked that account too. Ava did not take that well. She texted me from another number. You turned your mother against me too. You're isolating me from everyone. I replied, stop contacting me. She said, or what? That was the message that changed everything. Or what? I took screenshots, printed everything, and booked a consultation with an attorney named Grant. It cost me $250 for 45 minutes. Grant looked through the texts and videos and said, you don't need a restraining order yet, but you're close. Start with a cease and desist. If she shows up at your home or workplace again, call police. The letter cost $400. I sent it. Certified mail. Ava received it on Tuesday. On Wednesday, her friend Kelsey emailed me. You're really threatening legal action against a woman who loves you. That's disgusting. I forwarded the email to Grant. He replied, do not engage, so I didn't. That same week, I started going to a Saturday morning running group, not because I was trying to date. I just needed to be around people who didn't know Ava, didn't ask about Ava, didn't look at me like half a scandal. That's where I met Paige. Paige was 31, a pediatric nurse, and somehow both blunt and gentle. Our first conversation was about bad coffee and knee pain, no sparks flying, no movie scene, just easy. A week later, we grabbed lunch after the run. I told her I was recently out of a long relationship and not trying to rush anything. She said, good, I'm not applying for a position. I'm eating tacos. I laughed harder than I had in months. Someone saw us. Of course they did. By that night, Ava knew. At 11:43 p.m., an unknown number texted, so you replaced me already. I didn't answer. Then 4 years and you're already dating some random girl. Then you never loved me. Then I hope she knows you throw women away when they stop obeying. I saved everything. Didn't respond. Slept fine. Final update, 3 months later, a lot has happened since then. The cease and desist slowed Ava down, but it didn't stop her completely. For about 2 weeks, she switched to indirect contact, mutual friends, fake concern, posts that were obviously about me. One said, narcissists will punish you for asking to be loved properly. Another said, when you heal, they call it betrayal. I ignored all of it. Then she violated the one clear line. She came to my apartment again. It was a Thursday night. I was home. I had just finished dinner and was loading the dishwasher when the ring alert popped up. There she was, standing outside my door with a small gift bag. I didn't open the door. She knocked. Caleb, please, I know you're in there. I stayed quiet. She knocked again. I brought you something. It's not a big deal. I just want to end this with love. With love. That phrase actually made me angry. Not loud angry. Not door-opening angry. Cold angry. Because love had become her excuse for ignoring every boundary I set. I called the non-emergency police line and said my ex-girlfriend was at my door after receiving a cease and desist and refusing to leave. When the officers arrived, she started crying before they even got upstairs. I watched through the camera. She told them we were together 4 years. I just wanted closure. One officer asked, did he ask you not to contact him? She said, it's complicated. The officer said, that's a yes. They knocked. I opened the door with the chain still on and handed them printed copies of the cease and desist, the prior texts, and the workplace incident report. The older officer looked through the first few pages and sighed. He turned to Ava and said, ma'am, you need to leave. If you come back, this can become criminal trespass. Ava looked at me and said, you're really doing this? I said, you did this. I documented it. She left. The next morning, I filed for a protective order. Temporary one first. The hearing was set for 2 weeks later. Ava showed up wearing a cream sweater and no makeup, very soft, very wounded. Her mother came with her. I came with my folder, emails, texts, voicemails, ring footage transcripts, HR statement. Cease and desist receipt, police report. The judge listened patiently. Ava said she was heartbroken. She said she believed love deserved one final conversation. She said I was using the legal system to avoid accountability. The judge asked, accountability for what? Ava said, for abandoning me. The judge looked at my paperwork. Then he said, Miss Ava, according to these messages, you told him you wanted no labels, no rules, and the freedom to meet other people. He ended the relationship. Since then, he has repeatedly asked you not to contact him. You continued contacting him, went to his workplace, and appeared at his residence after receiving a cease and desist. Ava started crying. The judge said, "Heartbreak is not a legal right to access another person." That line stayed with me. The protective order was granted for 1 year. No contact, no workplace visits, no apartment visits, no third-party messages. Outside the courtroom, Denise, Ava's mom, stopped me. For a second, I expected anger. Instead, she looked exhausted. She said, "Caleb, I'm sorry." She didn't tell me most of that. I said, "I know." She said, "You were good to her." I didn't know what to say, so I just said I tried. She nodded and walked away. After that, things finally got quiet. Ava blocked me everywhere, which was honestly the first helpful thing she did in months. Kelsey stopped emailing. Brooke never messaged again. Trent from Trivia invited me back to the group chat and said, "For what it's worth, people know more now." I didn't go back, not out of fear. I just didn't want to keep living in the ruins of that relationship. Paige and I kept seeing each other slowly. Coffee after runs became lunch. Lunch became dinner. Dinner became her coming over to watch a movie and laughing at how empty my apartment looked. She said, "You own 3 forks and 1 lamp. Are you okay?" I said, "I'm rebuilding." She said, "Clearly from scratch." A month later, she helped me pick out a couch, not because she was moving in, not because she was marking territory, just because I admitted I had terrible taste in furniture. The new couch was $780, gray. Comfortable? Mine. That mattered. At work, I settled into the operations supervisor role. More responsibility, better money, and less chaos. Dana told me my focus had improved. I said, "Funny what happens when your personal life stops being a courtroom drama." She said, "Don't joke. I've seen less documentation in actual lawsuits." Fair. My mom met Paige 2 weeks ago. After Paige left, Mom texted me. "She seems peaceful. I like peaceful for you." I stared at that message for a while. Because that was the word, peaceful. Not exciting in the destructive way, not addictive, not hot and cold, not love measured by how much confusion you can survive, just peaceful. I used to think love meant proving you could stay no matter how badly someone tested you. I don't think that anymore. Ava said if I loved her, I would wait while she found herself. But love is not a waiting room where one person sits loyal while the other person tries on freedom. Love is not being told to stay available while someone decides whether you are enough. Love is not accepting disrespect because the person disrespecting you says they are confused. I loved Ava. That was real. But I loved myself enough to understand that her confusion did not get to become my prison. When someone asks for space to explore life without you, give them exactly that. Space. No backup plan. No emotional safety net. No reserved seat at your table. Let them find themselves, and while they do, find your peace. If this story hit close to home, comment below and tell me whether you've faced something similar or what your opinion is. Don't forget to like, share this with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more stories like this.